Now to an ABC 10 News exclusive. We spoke one-on-one with an interview with California Governor Gavin Newsom today. He is dealing with not only how to handle the ongoing pandemic, but facing a recall election now just weeks away. And ABC 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena was the only reporter to speak with him. She is joining us in studio right now with more on this interview today. Lindsay.
Thank you, Kim. As you said, we had time to ask the governor about a lot of different things, including the pandemic, his response, and how the recall is affecting how he governs now. Take a listen. Many behind the recall effort criticize the way you've handled the pandemic. In hindsight, is there anything you would have done differently?
Well, this state has outperformed states like Texas and Florida, Indiana, the United States as a whole in terms of health outcomes, but we've also outperformed economically. We're running an $80 billion operating surplus, allowed us to do a $12 billion tax rebate with a tentpole American jobs, almost 600,000 jobs coming out of this state in the last 5 months. I recognize the last 18 months have been stressful, a lot of fear, anxiety, all of us have felt. In hindsight, we're all geniuses, not just experts. And of course, you'd look back, and I don't think there's a governor in America, there's not a president of any jurisdiction in the world that probably wouldn't suggest otherwise. But I'm proud of the fact that we have led in terms of vaccines and testing and continue to do more than most states in that respect as well.
Governor, some say your office isn't doing what's necessary to get a handle on the recent rise in COVID cases and hospitalizations because you're worried about being recalled. Your response?
Well, I mean, we're at 6.1% positivity, close to 18% in Texas. We don't even need to talk about Florida and what's happening in Mississippi, across the country. California continues to do much better than the vast majority of states. We haven't been timid. Any suggestion that we're not leaning in is preposterous, particularly on the basis of the evidence of just the last couple of weeks. Let me be specific. We're the first state in the country to lean in, requiring all state workers to have vaccine verification. We followed that up with being the first state to require vaccine mandates for all healthcare workers in the nation. We then followed up and became the first state in the country last week to require all of our staff, not just teachers, paraprofessionals in our public schools and private schools, to have vaccine verifications as well. And just yesterday, we leaned in to become the first state to identify what we refer to as mega events indoors to require similar vaccine verifications. We continue to believe in science, we continue to believe in masking, and so all of those things sort of assert, not just prove, or rather prove, not just assert, this notion that we continue to lean in and take very seriously this moment.
Now, coming up at 5, more from my exclusive interview. I asked the governor about vaccine passports and if we could see another lockdown here in California. Reporting in the studio, Lindsay Pena, ABC 10 News. Kim.